Broadcasting live worldwide. Welcome.
Are you ready? Welcome. Señoras y señores, welcome
a Diálogo con Luis Otero. So welcome to another episode of Dialogo with Luis Otero. This is your host, Luis Otero. Thank you so much to all of you for always tuning in via audio and video. We're over 100,000 listeners, so thank you to all of you guys. Follow us in all social media accounts. THED Luis Otero in Instagram. We're over 100,000 followers in Instagram. We're growing a lot. Go to our website, dialogoconotero.com, and we're in over 27 platforms, including Amazon Music, Pandora, all over the place. I just want to say thank you to all of you guys. In this episode, it's truly a special episode. And I've been looking forward to have this episode for quite some time because I have heard from this amazing new upcoming actor the past few weeks, and I was very excited when he told me that he accepted our invitation to be on the podcast. This great actor that we have is from Ecuadorian Mexican descendants, but he was raised and he grew up, I think, in Oakland, California, close to the Bay Area. This upcoming actor that he's been growing tremendously, in the world of TV, and now with a recent new series that is in Netflix. He have appeared in TV series like Milagros de Navidad, Higher Education, and a short Mexican stand-up, 51 Nevada. He started his own comedy as well, Mud and Shops, in 2018, 2019, appeared in the TV short Transplants, The Clinic, and recently appeared as Joe Ojeda in the amazing Netflix TV series Selena, the series I have today in Dialogo with Luis Otero, and it's my pleasure to have Carlos Alfredo Jr. Welcome to Dialogo with Luis Otero, man. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation, man. How are you doing?
Wow. What an intro, man. What if I just started crying? Beautiful.
No, definitely.
It's an honor to be here, man.
No, a great pleasure, man. Thank you so much for taking the time. You've been very busy with media, man. It's congratulations. It's amazing to see you in such a great project, man. How does it feel? I know that life comes in and works in a very mysterious ways, and we're going to talk about that here in the podcast. Yeah. But congratulations on the role of Joe Ojeda in Selena, man. Tell me a little bit about that experience and how you're taking everything in the past few days. We're doing all this media tour.
Yeah, I mean it's surreal. I'm living my dream, honestly. Selena has had in my heart since I was a child. So when I saw the opportunity of a show coming out about her, and I was fresh in LA, I begged my manager to get me in the door. And I mean, fast forward, I'm here, and I couldn't be more blessed. I couldn't be more grateful.
It had to be very, very amazing because you were introduced to Selena at the age of 7, if I'm not mistaken, by your older sister. And just having her music around, with Selena Los Dinos at that time with her brother, A.B. Quintanilla, who's an amazing producer, you already are starting just to hear her story with all the music and your environment, because if I'm not mistaken, you come from, you have Ecuadorian in your blood and you have Mexican in your blood, and just having those two amazing, blends of our beautiful Latino culture, and being around her music, it had to be a little bit surreal when they told you that you got the role. I feel that this series is being just, in the making forever. A lot of people, they've been listening to, what this series was going to be coming all about, but just being part of such an amazing project, when you got that call from your manager and you were able to audition for this role, and by the way, to everyone that they're listening, the series is debuting December the 4th in Netflix, so go and check it out. It's really amazing.
It's crazy.
How was your reaction when you went to the auditions and then you said, do I might get the role? Do I might not get the role? And then you finally got the role.
Yeah, I mean, every actor has to go through that, but for me in particular, I wanted this so bad. At the time, I was washing dishes I was doing whatever job I could just to survive, just to be able to live my dreams in Los Angeles.
That's
So
incredible.
I was dishwashing when during my break, I saw my phone and it was like 25 missed calls from my manager, and I was like, oh my god, this is really good news or bad news, you know? And I called her right back, and the first thing she says is, "Hey Joe, how are you doing?" And that's when I knew like I got the part.
Really?
That's when I knew my entire life has changed
That's
just from that phone call.
incredible. That's incredible. So you were
Yeah.
dishwashing when you went in an audition. Obviously, you were working because LA is a very complicated, beautiful but complicated city because there's a lot of people that they're in the
Yeah,
world
very
of.
competitive.
Yes, it's very competitive. I was in LA earlier in the year before, unfortunately, the situation that we're living with the pandemic, but it had to be like crazy because you were like maybe just dishwashing and taking this other job and job just to be able to survive and just
Yeah.
you're having that hope and coming from hey, I gotta move to LA just to make it happen for myself, and then go audition. You keep working because you maybe said, hey, I'm going to this audition and you're going to after this other audition and you're going to this, because a lot of actors in LA, they tend to go to multiple castings. It had to be one of the best moments of your life. I can imagine just coming out of that break and just say, wow, I'm gonna be in this series, and how my life is gonna be shaped moving forward. Do you ever
Yeah.
thought about the impact that you were gonna have, or this was gonna have in your career? Because it's been wonderful to see you in the series now.
Yeah, I mean, I knew this was going to be the biggest show in Netflix history, and the fact that I was like, I didn't even care about that. It's just the fact that it was a Selena show. It was a story about Selena. Like, I got to be a part of that, because I grew up with the movie. I'm sure everyone grew up with the movie from with J-Lo in 1997.
Sure.
That was a big part of my life, of my upbringing. So fast forward for me to actually, be in the costumes and on stage and playing the songs and learning piano and meeting Joe, like it's so surreal. You can't write this kind of stuff.
No, of course. That's why it was wonderful when I hear, he was dishwashing, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. That's a crazy story, because like you typically hear, it's like, yeah, I moved to LA, and I basically was blowing up my trying to blow up, in the business. You were trying to blow up in the business, or maybe get that part to get the foot in the door. Now you're already in.
Right.
What happened after that day that you were dishwashing? You continue with the job until you were able to start to record a series? And what happened after? Do you start to just audition more? Because that had to give you fire in the belly. After that, you said, you know what? I'm going to go and start auditioning and grow, because those kind of experiences, or those kind of like, situations that you're putting in life to, be in a series like this and a project like this under Netflix, had to give you like that desire to say, you know what? I am going to push forward and just roll with this until the furthest that I can go, and make it a career out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say what it gave me, Luis, is confidence in my abilities. Because I mean, as an actor, you're auditioning, you're constantly being told no, being turned down, and you just develop a thick outer shell from all these auditions. So when I got the part, it gave me confidence that yes, you are on the right track. Because I had I love my parents, but sometimes, parents, they want the best for their child, and they didn't think this was the best, career for me. I had just graduated from an animation school, and I had a set career, but I decided to go into the acting route, and but God bless them. I mean, they stood by my side, and they me apoyaron all the way through. And here I am. I mean, I couldn't have done it without them too.
That had to be wonderful.
My mom taught me the immigrant hustle is what I call it, to work hard for what you want. And that's why I didn't care that I had to wash dishes. I didn't care if people made fun of me, because I was living my dreams.
How do you
and
build?
Fast forward, I'm here.
Yeah,
living my dreams.
No, you're living your dream. How do you build that tough skin? Because it had to be crazy. I always say, like, you getting no's all the time set you in a mind frame that you don't care anymore about failure. You're, when you say, like, they tell you no, 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 because it happened to me many times. They're telling you no, and you basically say, you know what, what I have to lose. You didn't have anything to lose because they were saying no. So when that yes was gonna come, it was gonna be wonderful. Plus, you went for animation, and that had to be crazy. You had already a set career. Maybe you already were in a career path, making dollars, making a living, and then you said, you know what, this is not what I really love. I don't want to animate. That could help me maybe create projects in the future, but I want to be in the front of the camera, and just saying like, hey, Dad, Mom, I love you guys, but I gotta do what it's gonna be making me happy in the future. It had to be a very like eye-opening moment, or one of those moments that maybe you had heavy heart and you didn't know if it was gonna be the right decision, but you went with maybe your heart and your soul and your gut, and you said, hey, I gotta do this for my own sake. If I'm failing, it's gonna be on me. It's not gonna be on you guys. How do you handle that approach with mom and dad, just to tell them that? Because my parents, an example in communications, they supported me, but they were always like, hey, we want you to be, in this career path. Sometimes, as Latinos, we tend to guide our kids, or want our kids just to go and be doctors or lawyers. But we love this. So, how was that moment? Could you talk to us a little bit so the audience can know what you went through, during that moment when you told them about, hey, I'm leaving animation, I'm going for this.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard, but we have to follow our hearts. I mean, it's ultimately it's our life in the end, So for me, I mean, I had this amazing opportunity. My goal was to work for Pixar. And I was actually interning at Pixar Animation Studios. Wow. I was there for about a year, and they were working on Toy Story 3 at the time.
Awesome.
But as the reason I got into acting, I mean, acting was not natural for me. I was a very shy kid, very reserved. But the only reason I got into acting is because as an animator, you're supposed to be the best actor you can be for your performances, for your characters, to give life into these inanimate objects. So I wanted to be the best animator that I could be. So I started taking acting classes, even though it was the weirdest thing. It felt nasty. I would throw up before each class. But I saw what it was doing to my confidence. I saw what it was doing to me as a human being. It was opening me up. And I mean, as they say, I caught the acting bug, and I had to do the hardest thing I had to do was to tell my family, like, hey, I want to move to LA and be an actor. And of course, the shock was, wait, what? We just paid for this college,
Sure.
We paid thousands of dollars for you to go to college, and now you want to be an actor? But I mean, I had to follow my heart, and God bless them. They were on board the entire way. So,
no, it's extremely cool because you as well, during your life, and growing up, you were exposed to music, and you play multiple instruments. I was reading, and it's impressive that you play drums. That they're back there. You got the piano, the bass, and you play a very unique instrument that I really love, the harmonica. And I'm like, wow. Like, I don't have seen a harmonica player in a long time. I know about the Lee Ozarks of the world and a lot of other, a lot of other harmonica players. But I'm like, wow, he just plays the harmonica. It's one of those unique, musical instruments that a lot of people, they just don't even think about. How I really want to ask this question: how do you taught yourself to play all these instruments, when you were growing up, and help you maybe, because the discipline to learn instruments, you had to apply the same, discipline to be able to create this now amazing career that you're building as an actor. Yeah. And the same thing, you have to build discipline to be able to go into animation as well. So how do you learn, and taught yourself all these instruments, when you were growing up?
Yeah, I mean, I started when I was 10 years old. And I blame my mom for that because her dream when she was a little kid was to play guitar. So she passed that on to me, and she wanted, desperately for me to learn guitar. And I started playing at church. I didn't like it because me salían callos,
Oh, of course, seguro, yeah, of course.
Yeah, and I hated it. Like, it was, but then I learned to love it because, in high school, when I got to high school, I felt like an outsider. I had acne and I was short and scrawny and no one paid attention to me. And I felt, I don't know, like I discovered heavy metal, and heavy metal music just changed my life because no longer did I feel like an outsider. I felt like I was part of this community, this group of people that understood me.
Sure.
And that's all I wanted to do. I would lock myself in my room and just practice and practice and practice until I got to a level that people started admiring me. And shortly after, I joined I went back to my Latin roots and I joined a Latin band, and we played quinceañeras and weddings, and that's when I learned how to play cumbias and rancheras, baladas on the guitar,
Sure.
and we started playing Selena covers. So I felt like one of my heroes growing up was Chris Perez,
Of
and I would
course.
play Bidi Bidi Bam Bam with the wah wah pedal, and I would do the solo, and it felt really cool. So naturally, my life was as a musician, and that's when I started learning, like you said, harmonica, because I got into Manan, Vivir Sin Aire, the whole
Of
harmonica solo in the
course.
beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I started buying the little piece that goes on the neck so I can play and play
Sure.
harmonica and play guitar at the same time.
Yeah.
And I taught myself as many instruments as I could because it was out of a I didn't know a lot of musicians growing up, so for me it's like, okay, well, I'll just make my own group. I'll learn how to play the bass. I'll learn how to play the drums, and that's what I ultimately did. You know?
That's interesting. That's really cool because I like heavy metal. A lot of people, that hey,
Nice.
yes, I like the Iron Maidens, the Megadeth,
Oh my
all
God, yeah.
yeah, the Metallicas and all those great bands. Had opportunity, to interview, many of those guys. And what is
Oh, cool.
interesting, yeah, it's just a community. Yeah, it's a community. I had the
Yeah,
opportunity
exactly.
to, before he passed away, just to talk to Lemmy from Motorhead, and who was
Oh,
the
you
the
did.
vocalist of Motorhead, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's really awesome, that you find as well that good oasis or that place for you or safe place for you to be able to channel through maybe all
Mhm.
those tough times or rough times, because life is just crazy and it's tough, and high school can be good, can be crazy. I was bullied in school, as an example, and you find your ways to channel through those emotions, and you find a way through the music too, you know and that maybe gave you a reason just to, hey, you know what, I want to do arts, and that's how you've been doing it,
Mhm.
maybe
Yeah.
music, then animation, and now obviously, you've been an actor. So it's extremely awesome just to see how, music always
Mhm.
comes and basically shapes a lot of like lives at the beginning, and then, now you can say, hey, I'm a true artist because you now have music and you've been doing music. You're a
Mhm.
singer, songwriter, and do that. And then now, with your, acting career, it's really interesting. But I gotta highlight that in 2018, you produced, and it was basically maybe one of those moments that had to be
Mhm.
very awesome for you. 2018, I gotta highlight, you produced and started your own comedy show called title, Mutton Chops. And you
Yeah.
were
Mutton
nominated
chops.
to the 2019, ARFF Barcelona International Film Festival. Um, how that experience came about, or how that project, was created, because you created that project from scratch, so it had to
Mhm.
have a special place in your heart, and just to be able to put that work out there, maybe just saying, I don't know how this is gonna work. I'm gonna get
Yeah.
maybe a lot of people saying that they gonna like or maybe not like my work, but you put yourself vulnerable and you said, you know what, I'm gonna go for it, and you did
Mhm.
Modern Shops. How this project came about, and how was that experience crucial for the place that you are currently today?
Yeah. I mean, Luis, that came out of a frustration from not getting work. Like no one was giving us opportunities.
Hmm.
So me and my roommate, we said, we have the talent, we have the resources, we know how to edit, we know how to shoot. Why don't we just go out to the desert and do something, So we sat down and we came up with this project, and it started like writing itself, honestly. And then his mom went off and made the costumes for us based on our sketches,
Sure.
and it just became this incredible web series that we were so proud of. And we submitted it to film festivals, and it got accepted into the Spain Film Festival, which was my first time in Europe. So I got to experience that culture, and then we went to Italy, and it was just an incredible experience. Hopefully, we'll keep making some since I'm part of the Netflix family now. So Fingers crossed.
No, fingers crossed. No, definitely. What I say is that you are in the Selena series, but you always have creativity running all the time. So you're like, oh, what happened if I do this idea or I do this short? I feel that shorts all the time they get overlooked, and they're a great way to just put yourself out there. If you're listening, a lot of people that they are in the in the world they of media, or they want to become actors, or they want to just be in the world of like media. They I just say like shorts are a great way, or creating web series, or maybe to understand the business, because a lot of people they don't understand that. Yes, you go and audition, but there's a business aspect of distribution and studio and how to get it to market and how to monetize your content and all that stuff. So, that's a different conversation, but you really had to learn a lot on that experience with Mud and Shops, it had to be very, awesome experience, that really took you even to Europe. And maybe you said, oh my God, this was an idea. Never thought in a million years that I was going to be in Europe presenting this in the front of an audience that I don't know, maybe nobody about them.
Exactly.
So it had to be really cool. Carlos, how, what you're expecting from this role, what people can expect from the role of Joe Ojeda in, the Selena series, because Joe Ojeda was a very crucial person and very crucial figure in the life of Selena. He was the original keyboardist of Selena and Los Dinos. And, it was very important in the part of the composition of music when she, had the group. How do you prepare to just portray or just, act and put yourself in the shoes of Joe Ojeda and what he lived with Selena, and be able to transmit that authenticity in the front of, the TV? How do you were able to, get into that mind frame and be able to tell the story?
Right. Well, I was actually very lucky. I was fortunate enough to talk to the real Joe Ojeda. When I got cast as Joe, I sent him a message on Instagram, and I thanked him, and I said I was going to do the best possible job for him. And I didn't expect him to write back, but he wrote back. And, ever since then, him and I had been communicating back and forth. He would answer all my questions. I would ask him things about, the keyboards he would use and how many and what was the live performances like. And as an actor, I was getting all this insight from the real guy that I'm portraying. And once I got on set, that's when I started, getting my outfits and things like that. And I would send pictures to Joe from my outfits, and he would be like, "Oh, I would never wear that," or "Yes, I would totally wear that," or he would give me, he would tell me like, "Go to the wardrobe lady and tell her to give you some Z Cavariccis," and I'm like, "What's that?" And I would tell them, and next thing you know, I'm wearing Z Cavariccis on set,
Sure.
And it's all through that communication with Joe. And then, he would tell me, "Oh, 1994, I was wearing earrings," so then I would go to the director and be like, "Hey, can I wear earrings during this time period?" And she would be like, "Oh, I didn't know Joe wore earrings. Yeah, go for it." So then I felt very proud of myself that I was, like you said, bringing that authenticity to my character. And of course, a big part of being Joe is the keyboards. So I went out of my way before I got on set to take piano lessons. So I took about three months of piano lessons, and just to get the groove of it. And then I had to emulate Joe's style on top of that, because he plays it completely differently than the way I would play it. And then I had to practice standing up and playing and performing. And then I had to incorporate the whole, dance that Joe does, the crazy stuff that he does on stage. But once I had that, then I had the formula for Joe. And of course, the haircut and the wardrobe really just sealed the deal for me.
It had to be very awesome. How?
Incredible, yeah.
No, it had to be awesome. Do you watch a lot of tapes? Do you had any real conversation other than just text, with Joe, for him to explain to you and say, hey, I did this, I did that, like you said, but do you have to just watch those videos and tapes from Los Dinos back then and be able to study a lot, maybe the body language from
Yeah.
him. I can't imagine how many hours do you spend, studying someone like this, in order to just nail the role.
Yeah, I spent so many hours before I even set foot on stage because I had about 2 or 3 months to myself before I was, called into. We actually we shot in Mexico, so before I went to Mexico, and in those 3 months, I just hustled. I just I dove deep into the piano, and they were sending me the screenplays, and I was reading them as a fan because I'm a huge Selena fan. That's what I want people to know as well. That I'm
Sure.
not just an actor. I'm the biggest Selena fan. So for me, reading these and getting to know her more through the scripts and getting to know Joe more through the scripts, it was incredible. It was an incredible gift. But I think those 3 months were the most important elements or the most important part of me developing my character. So when I got to set, I was in it. I was completely locked and loaded. And Joe was there, behind the scenes, help guiding me with whatever questions I had. So I was very thankful for him.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
How was the cast? How was the dynamic with the cast, with the entire cast? Being on set is a different thing than just be able to study for the script. But how is everything? How was the dynamic with the crew? With the other members of the cast. Do you guys get along? They give you the opportunity to improv a little bit? How was that dynamic with the entire set? Do it was difficult sometimes? You had long days of taping. Can't imagine. So how was the dynamic and how was the experience on set? With your role.
Well, we became a very tight-knit family, all of us. There was so much Latinx talent in front and behind the camera. And, we always would celebrate together. Before COVID hit, we would all go out and eat tacos de pastor on the streets.
Oh my God, man. Those are amazing.
Yeah.
Sure, it had to be awesome.
So like just being in Mexico was a dream.
Yeah.
And we got to experience the culture, la gastronomía, all that good stuff.
Sure.
And like I said, we just became a big family. And I think you guys will feel that in the show when you watch it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How much time do you spend on the set, basically, or how much was your part, on the set? Do you work for the entire series, or you work for only just a period, and then after that they keep recording and they just wrapped up and they let you know, hey, we're gonna be releasing December the 4th? Because man, you gotta be excited. It's just only 3 more days, as of this recording, that that this is gonna be live globally in Netflix, like in every single territory. Yeah. So it had to, how much time, do you spend, on the set? It was a long time, a few weeks that you were in Mexico?
No, I was there for good. I mean, I started, what was it? December 2019.
Sure.
That's when I got called in to set. And my schedule, it varied. So sometimes I would, go like 4 or 5 days without working. Sometimes I would just do this little thing. Sometimes I'd be there all day. One time I think we shot till like 2 a.m, from like 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. the next day.
Wow.
It just depended, yeah. And then the performances took a long time too. There's a lot of preparation. Of course the extras, being in the crowd, and then getting the timing of everyone right, getting everyone's individual shot and then the wide shot. It was a whole ordeal. But then when COVID hit, and we had to go back. We took like a 5-month hiatus, and then they finally called us back in August of this year. And the rules and regulations were completely different. Everything was more strict. There was no more extras. The extras had become the crew members. They had to dress up in the uniforms, which is really cool, really funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, we made it through. And I'm really proud.
You have to be proud. You have to be proud, man. From last year situation where it was, and you guys were able to wrap up, a production of this kind of caliber. It just says a lot about, the whole cast, directors, obviously Netflix, and everyone involved. It had to be, very, very interesting. What people can expect from your role? What people can see from how Carlos leaves a footprint in Joe Ojeda's role. what will be that footprint that people can see and say, that's Carlos Alfredo Jr. there as Joe Ojeda, but we know that is Carlos Alfredo putting his own twist and taste, because that's the difficult part. You have to portray Joe Ojeda with Carlos Alfredo trademark. What people can expect this Friday, as as we were patiently waiting and anxiously waiting for the TV series just to debut.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Joe and I have a similar sense of humor, similar style. So I think that's why I got cast as Joe. Once I got to meet him, once I got to get to know him, I was like, oh yeah, this is totally me. This is me in a couple of years, you know.
Sure.
So I think what people will feel is just the love that I put into it. They'll see how much Selena means to me through my performance, you know. And if you're a piano player and you see my fingers, you will actually, you know, if you slow motion whatever shot of me, you'll actually see that I'm actually playing my instrument. So that I actually took the time and dedication to, you know, to put as much authenticity in Joe as I could. So I think people will feel that and people will see that. And I can't wait for you guys to watch it.
No,
for
definitely.
Sure.
It's gonna be awesome, man. Just to watch this in Selena, the series, man. It's gonna be very cool. It's gonna be.
It's gonna be
I've been waiting, man. The promo is being ridiculous. Selena series is just being, everywhere. In regards of like the promo, and it's a lot of hype. So we're definitely expecting to be an amazing series. What we can expect from you in the future, Carlos? I know that we're talking about the Selena series, and obviously everyone that they're listening and they're watching, December the 4th. You gotta go to Netflix and just start watching. Watch it the entire weekend, man. What I see the people say, take the entire weekend and just get with the family and just watch it like nonstop. Because because what I say is like I rather just watch a series like nonstop, so I don't miss any part, than just like a little time here, depending obviously the time of the person, but just watching the entire the entire series, it will be definitely awesome. So in that way you see one of these great masterpieces that Netflix have put together where you're at. What we can expect from you in the future? You got a lot of projects, man. Full agenda. I see it. You got a lot of things. I see it. I trust me. I see that there's a lot of projects in the pipeline. But what people can expect from you, Carlos, in the future, of yourself, and all these projects that you're getting involved, as you keep, growing in the world of Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just an artist. I'm just a guy that loves learning. So definitely, I want to explore more of acting. I want to keep being cast and working on characters that are musicians. I'd like to be portrayed. I'd like to portray more musicians in the future. Right now, currently, I'm working on my first album.
That's really cool. I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
Yeah. This series gave me the confidence to start, not be afraid anymore and just put my album out there. For example, I wrote Selena a song while I was on set. And this song, I showed it to Netflix and they loved it. I showed it to Joe Ojeda and he loved it. So my plan, my goal, and my dream is to collaborate with Joe Ojeda, the real Joe Ojeda, on this song, on this track. And we'll see what happens. I mean,
it's possible. It's possible. Trust me. I have seen a lot of things all the time, and I talk to a lot of producers, a lot of friends of mine that they are producers and arrangers and songwriters and and artists. And I something like that definitely could happen. You're new blood. Growing. Portraying him. You definitely can collaborate with him and anyone, specifically. What kind of music is gonna be your album about? I know that you're working with currently now, and recording, mastering, mixing is another story. But what type of music we could expect from you in the future? As you keep working on this album.
Yeah. So my music is gonna be a hybrid of a lot of things that I grew up loving and that I still love. for example, I'm a blues guy, so I love the blues.
Of
Carlos
course.
Santana,
Yeah,
Maná, all those.
Carlos Santana, Eric Clapton, Fair
Yeah.
from Mana. I know that you play with Mana, it's incredible, one of,
Oh, that's another. Yeah, that was like
yeah,
the cherry on top.
yes, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, something very interesting for people to know. So what is cool about this is just, you play with Mana in the front of like 20,000 people in the forum in LA. So it had to just be, the cherry on the top. But so it's going to be more like an alternative, rock, kind of like in that
Well, I like
area,
to mix.
blues. And so it's going to have an influence of a lot of like strings, music.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's gonna be there's gonna be mariachi seeped into it. There's gonna be pop, and there's gonna be blues. So this song that I was talking about, the Selena song I wrote,
Sure.
it's got that very vintage sound of the late '80s, early '90s.
Yeah.
That classic Selena y los Dinos sound.
Yeah.
So that's what when you hear it, you will feel very nostalgic, and I showed it to my sister, and she said this just makes you miss Selena even more.
Yeah,
So
that
for her to say that,
nostalgia
it's
is
like, wow,
great.
thank you.
Yeah, like I feel, yeah, like I feel that in our generation, and I listen to every single music. Like it doesn't matter if it's urban, rock, metal,
you.
blues,
Nice.
jazz, big band, all that stuff. But it's what is interesting is that I feel that there's music that from our era that have to just bring those blends, that kind of like groove, because I feel that I don't have heard blues in a long time. I don't feel that there's that much, even that Gary Clark Jr. that he keeps it.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
that's what comes to mind.
Yeah, Gary Clark Jr. is one of the ones that just keeps it, very unique, and very, alive in the influence of his guitar. And it's one of a unique of a kind. Gary's a great guy. And I feel that, we need more of that, in music. And I think that the sound has been very like, hey, we like hip hop, we like trap, we like urban. Yes, it's moving masses, but there's still like that niche of like, you need the alternative, you need the, grunge, you need the rock, you need the heavy metal, you need the blues just to create music that transcends, because I feel that music never dies. It just lives forever. That sound
exactly.
tends to just live forever. So it will be awesome to hear more about your project,
Yeah, if I can just inspire a young kid to pick up a guitar and learn, or a piano, I think I did my job. And that's what I want. That's the thing I don't see anymore. I don't see young kids actually learning an instrument and being, going, taking classes and just putting stuff out there. And that's what I miss, because in my generation there was a lot of musicians out there doing it, a lot of young people trying it.
I
But like
feel
you said,
that
now there's like,
I just
for it.
feel, Carlos, that maybe it's a tough business. Like the music business is that I like what I say to people is like, music is beautiful. The business is just crazy. It's just tough, and it's the same thing. Like acting is beautiful, and I love a lot. And I'm a big supporter in the podcast here. We have so many new up and coming actors that 6 months after they're in a main series, and they and people there's like, oh, how you guys have grown so fast. The podcast is like, I just support newcomers. I like this, and even we have veterans, and we have just amazing actors and musicians, and even we have wrestlers that they're just from many around the world, and musicians. And what I say is that acting is just beautiful. Sometimes the business is just tough, and a lot of people in the way are just trying to commercialize maybe their craft or be able to make a living with the craft. They just tend to get potentially maybe frustrated or discouraged. And I think that people they have to just forget about the money, do it for the soul, and then if you keep doing it, everything is gonna come. You're a true example of that, and we applaud you because you pursue your dream. You were dishwashing, and this is just amazing. It's an amazing story. You were dishwashing, you were auditioning, you were putting yourself and sacrificing yourself. You got the part as Joe Ojeda, and you're now debuting on Friday, December the 4th, on the biggest platform in the world, Netflix, in the Selena TV series. Carlos, this is your home, man. I want to hear more about you. We definitely we need
that means a lot.
to yes, we need to plan another episode when you have your album ready or you have any other of their projects, But closing now, the interview. What message you would like to give to anyone out there that they're listening to you, that they would like to become an actor like yourself or just live from the art? What will be the message of you that you would like to give to all of the people that they're listening to you or watching you on the podcast?
I guess I would just like to say, if you do things from the heart, your dreams, like take it from me, like take me as inspiration if you want. But I went out there and I did exactly what I was supposed to do on this earth. Selena did that, and you can too. So much love, everyone.
No, definitely. So Carlos, where we can find you in social media, everyone that they're listening, obviously any parts of the world, they will love to, they typically just go and follow, our guests, in social media, where we can find you in social media. What are your handles in Instagram, Facebook, Twitter? There's so many like social media, like outlets that, I just get lost at this point,
So you can find me on @Carlos Alfredo Jr. on basically everything. You can go to my website, carlosalfredojr.com, and I'll be there.
So they can find you in carlosalfredojr.com. So that's awesome. And in Instagram, Twitter, and all the social
Everything,
media, social media outlets. Carlos, man, a great pleasure to have you here in the
nice talking to you.
in the podcast. We're gonna have you back. To everyone that they're listening or watching, just please follow us in all social media at the Luis Otero, dialogo.com, or just go and listen to us in more than 27 platforms all around the world. And again, thank you so much, Carlos, for being with us, and we'll see you guys in the next time in Dialogo with Luis Otero. Thank you.